Hi everyone, you're welcome to Reviews and Recaps. Let's get into today's video. So I'm going to be doing Ready to Love episode 3. Apologies, it's taking a little bit longer than it would usually take, but I'm here now. So yeah, let's get into it. So the first scene was the ladies' deliberation with nephew Tommy. And so I think the part that really got me was when Ace was talking about her date with Cornelius. And she was like, oh, I went on a date with Cornelius and it was nice. You should have seen Nephew Tommy. Nephew Tommy was like, that's it? Like, Nephew Tommy was myself and the rest of us thinking like, girl, are you going to tell us a little bit more, or is that all we're going to get? But I guess that's what we got from Miss Ace. She was like, okay. I think we're all hoping that Miss Ace would give us something more than just nice. But I guess that she wasn't on that one. Anyway, so Nephew Tommy started talking about how they should find out whether, their dates can fit into their lives. And so Nephew Tommy came with his curveball, like he always says. And he was like, well, we're going to have 2 new singles joining us. And Dakia was chosen to go on a date with the new single guy who's called Eric. And so Eric is a chef, celebrity chef. In his confessional, he was talking about how being a celebrity chef, if he plans a date, sometimes he has to go and work in between. I'm like, please, I don't know who you're dating, but you ain't gonna plan a date with me and then leave midway because you have to go to work. I understand doing that once, maybe twice, but anything more than that is a pattern and I'm not going to stand for it. But yeah, have you guys ever dated a guy that would leave mid-date? I just thought that was weird. But anyways, okay, so back to Dakia and Eric. So they went on their little date. It looks like they had a lot of banter. It looks like they got on quite well. So Dakia, Eric was like, I used to be an engineer. And Dakia was like, I'm an engineer. I'm like, okay, girl. Like, they just have so much in common. So yeah, let's see what happens with that. Eric said that the vibe with Dakia is amazing. But that, of course, she's the first person that he was meeting, so of course he is going to take it slow and see and get to know the rest of the ladies. I was like, okay, that is someone who is taking the process seriously, because a lot of people come on Ready to Love, but they aren't ready to date multiple people. They sort of start dating and then they lock in on whoever it is that they want to date, and then that's it. I'm sure you guys remember Camille and Cornelius from the last season. Camille was like, this is who I'm going to date. She literally put her tentacles in that man and did not let that man go. Okay, so the new single woman was AP, and she was scheduled to go on a date with big teddy bear Clifton. And so AP was like, oh, Clifton. My first impression was that he's beautiful, glowing from inside. He's definitely eating his berries and juices and stuff. I was like, okay. I didn't notice all of that when I look at Clifton, but okay. Well, thank you, sis, for mentioning that he is glowing. Anyways, I was thinking that they were getting along quite okay. Now, I, of course, didn't get, any sort of, attraction vibes there. But sis took me out when she was like, you remind me of my brother. I was like, girl, did you just tell this man he reminds you of your brother? Yeah. Bless Clifton, right? He really did try to bring it back. He was like, well, he's handsome, right? AP was like, yeah, but you still remind me of my brother. I'm like, ooh. Let's just say Miss AP did not want to be dating her brother, and that is absolutely understandable. If anyone reminded me of my brother, it would be a no. unless it's a personality thing and not a, like a facial thing. But facial, oof, yeah, no. None of my brothers, no. I will not be dating my brother. Anyway, so there was a group date with Eric, Dakia, Cornelius, Joy, and Ace. And it was like a little painting date. Cornelius started painting a cat that he had. Guys, how is the name of the cat called Pimp? I don't get it. Like, who names a cat Pimp? Like, there's so many things wrong with that name in the first place. But you finna name a cat Pimp? Anyways, that was my own little 2 cents on that. Then, is it just me, or during this group date, Ace just seemed so interested in talking to Mr. New Boy, Eric? And I noticed that she had the same facial expressions when she was talking to Wiley and some other guy that she talked to. At this point, I think Ace just looks interested whenever she's talking to anybody. Maybe because she pays attention, or perhaps she just appears that like she's listening. I do wonder, does she truly listen, or has she mastered the art of pretending to listen to everybody? I would like to find out. I guess we'll find out as the season goes forward and goes ahead. Hopefully she doesn't get eliminated, because I don't know if she has that many connections with a lot of the guys yet. Guys, Eric was feeling Miss Joy. I guess it's the energy. Joy just has such great energy, and so she just knows how to walk in a room and own the room. And she just has a lighthearted and positive spirit that most people are attracted to, and I think I definitely see that. So Joy asked Eric, "How are you doing?" Mr. Eric said, "I am blessed and highly flavored." I'm like, okay, alrighty. How about that, Mr. Chef? Mr. Chef, highly flavored. Better get it right. I do think Eric is a good conversationalist. I think he's one of those people where he can talk to anyone, wherever you put him, he will thrive. And I think that's the vibe I get. So the problem with people that are good conversationalists is that sometimes it's like you don't know who you vibe with, because you vibe with everyone. That is something I can relate to. Anyways, we move. So Dakia then decided to pull Cornelius to the side, at this painting date. And so Dakia, in her confessional, was saying that I'll pull Cornelius to the side, but I will wink at Eric so he knows I'm feeling him. And I just thought, Mr. Dakia with the sexual energy. Like, sis, you have a lot of sexual energy going on, sis. Like, be coming down. But Cornelius basically said that Dakia gave the vibe of being committed. I'm like, Cornelius, every time you have a conversation with someone and they bring up any level of commitment, even in passing, you look and get uncomfortable. Why are you on a show called Ready to Love if you are not ready to be committed? Make it make sense. Did you just want to check? Do they even pay them? Like, what is the reason? Like, why did you come to waste our time and your time by showing up to something that is a show that is called Ready to Love? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Anyways, that's my own little 2 cents. Anyways, the next scene was Sabrina and Paul went on a date. And Paul was feeling Sabrina, but Sabrina was not, I repeat, was not feeling Paul. So Paul talked about always in go mode. Sabrina was trying to talk to him about, if you're in go mode, do you find time to relax? And Paul kept talking about, he doesn't relax much. He's a go-getter, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, Sabrina said that she does not want her relationship to feel like a business partnership. And she gets that from Paul. I totally understand what she's talking about. Paul just gives the vibe that's like, let's have coaching sessions. Let's talk about how to make money. Let me teach you how to do this. Let me teach you how to do that. He definitely, I agree with Sabrina. She said he gives mentor vibes. I 100% agree with her. Paul is more one of those people that you're like, oh, I'm going to set you aside as my coach. If I'm trying to achieve 20 things and I need someone to hold me accountable, then I will trust that you can hold me accountable. He just comes across as that kind of person. I hope he fixes it, because hopefully he connects with someone during this process and gets to leave this process with somebody, but I don't think that's going to happen. Anyways, so there was a bowling date with Paul, AP, Eric, Joy, and Levine. And so Paul was leading the date the whole time, and he was trying to teach the ladies how to bowl. I kept thinking, like, Paul, leave the ladies alone. If no one has asked you for a lesson on how to bowl, leave them alone. Let them, everything does not have to be about winning. And it just took me back to what Sabrina said about mentor vibes. Why are you going to the bowling alley and acting like you are the teacher in the midst? You're like, oh, let me teach you how to do this. My mama taught me how to bowl. Like, honey, sit somewhere. Maybe I came here to lose. Maybe I came here to just do the bowling thing and go home. I don't want, who knows? Like, I would have taken lessons, but I also understand other people who may not have. And it was interesting that Joy was saying that, Paul is not for everyone, but like, if you are used to like straight shooters or whatever, you'll be able to take Paul's, conversations and humor. But the truth of the matter is, Joy looked pissed when Paul was trying to teach her how to bowl. So I don't know how she came up with that, but okay, sis. Now, can we talk about Levine? Levine, what is with you asking people to touch your butt? I just don't get it. Do you go around and you're like, wait, touch my butt, touch my butt, touch my butt? Like, he kept going to Joy, touch my butt for some encouragement, just to bowl. Who does that? And it is not the first time in this process that he has asked one of the women to touch his butt. It is unnecessarily sexual. Like, what is going on? At this point, it's like ready to have sex, ready to F is what you guys are on. I just don't understand. And so, yeah, I was just like, what's up with y'all, man? You guys are doing the absolute most. Anyways, the next scene was the group date with Wiley, AP, Demetrius, and Sabrina. And one other person. Who's that one other person? Can't remember. Anyways, it was a bunch of them. During this group date, right, Wiley was talking to the new lady, AP. And can I just say, Wiley has a type. Wiley loves them older. He immediately just gravitated to AP. And he started asking her how old she was. She was like, how do I look? Guys, I just kept thinking, Wiley, be careful how you answer that question. But luckily, the Ready to Love didn't show us how he answered that. So that was that. But Wiley was being so engaging, but AP was not having any of it. She just wanted to talk to Demetrius. She was like, Wiley is too young for me. She just was not engaging. You could see that she was very closed off during the conversation. I didn't like that. I'm like, you're on a show Ready to Love, like try and be at least a little bit open. I'm not asking you to be like, jumping for joy at the fact that this man you're not interested in is trying to talk to you. But I think at least he's having a conversation with you. Just engage a little bit more. Don't appear so closed off. Anyways, Sabrina was having a conversation with Tori, and instead, this lady said in her confessional that she wanted Demetrius to interrupt. She's like, well, whilst I was talking to Tori, with Demetrius, he was quiet the whole time. I was expecting him to at least, engage in the conversation or fight for me. I'm like, girl, fight for you? Like, stop it. Like, why do people say that? It just doesn't make any sense. Like, so you wanted the man to interrupt the conversation you were having with Tori to insert himself as a way of fighting for you. Like, nah. He did the polite thing, which is let you lot speak. And if you wanted to include him, either of you could have said, oh, Demetrius, what did you think of? And then he would have had to respond. And that would have opened up the conversation. I think for me, I don't like when 3 people are involved and one party wants the other party that is not involved in the conversation to insert themselves. No, you insert me if you want me to join in the conversation. Anyways, do you guys agree with that, or do you guys think I'm bugging? Anyways, after that date, there was a date with Joy and Clifton. So they started off this date with Clifton, tasted the food, and then he realized that the food had coconut in it. Homeboy Clifton is allergic to coconut. Guys, when Joy was like, I got you, I'm not trying to kill you off, I just got you, I cracked up. I was just like, nah, she is funny. She is funny. And then when she started like fanning him and she was like, don't go, Clifton, don't go. I was like, nah, she is too cute. She's funny. I love her energy. And one thing I also loved about their date is after all that funny, lighthearted energy, they talked a little bit deeply about their dads, and they had a connection there. They had a connection about losing their fathers, who were very instrumental in their lives, and how the loss and how the impact of the loss on them. And so I think that's something that they really, really bonded on, and I thought that was like really good for the show. Okay, so, but the part that now got me was when Joy said to Clifton, I see part of me in you. But the way she meant it in I see similarities. But Clifton, on the other hand, was like, I see part of me in you. And the way he said it, I was like, this man is so sexually suggestive. Like, what is going on? Is everybody on the show on heat? What is it, guys? Like, stop it. And then Joy was like, I want to do this again. Not this, but you. Then Clifton is like, you want to do me? I'm like, guys, this is a daytime television show, guys. Like, stop doing that. This is too much for me and the rest of us, because you all need to get a room. Anyway, so back to deliberation with the ladies. Nephew Tommy was asking the ladies who they were feeling. Ace said Levine, Joy said Clifton, Carmen said Clifton. Guys, when Carmen was talking about Clifton, Joy looks like she was ready to fight. She was like, give me the boxing gloves. I'm ready to fight it out. Yeah, she was pissed. She picked up her face later though, but we quoted. We quoted Miss Joy. It's interesting though, most of the girls said Cornelius and Paul should go home, and I'm not surprised. Ace was like, Paul comes across as homie, not I want to take you home vibes. I'm like, okay, Ace, that's as new. I would have expected you would want homie, but okay. I also love that Princess spoke up for Paul, because it seems that Princess and Paul had a connection, and initially I thought Paul had no connections with anyone, but it turns out he had a connection with Precious. Now I don't know how long that connection is going to last for, because Paul is very rigid and just, yeah, I don't know. Perhaps I'm going to make a separate video about Paul later. But I guess like she was like, yo, I'm fighting for my connection, because that's the only person I made a connection with. I don't know. But one of the things that Precious did say was that she was flighty and that she needed someone with a lot of rigidity, which Paul was. And so I think in that sense, I guess they always say opposites attract. So I guess they do indeed. So the final episode, the final scene was pretty much the scene with where they were eliminating Cornelius, but there isn't much to see on that. To be fair, he was eliminated. He went home. I guess he was shocked that the women would vote him off. But if you're not being honest about what you want in terms of commitment, then I'm not surprised that they were like, you got to go, because this show is called Ready to Love. You're really unsure about whether you're ready to love, so we're not going to wait here for you to find out. And so there was a final date also with Precious and Paul. So Precious was saying to Paul what happened in deliberations. And what I noticed is as soon as Precious brought up deliberations, Paul immediately became defensive. I really don't like how he handled it. It was almost like he was bad-mouthing. And it just didn't sit down well with me. When he said that, with me, what you see is what you get, blah, 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 and just went on his own little rant, I noticed that Precious was looking at him a little differently, like, what is wrong with this man? She sort of had a red flag. You know when you see a red flag and your facial expression was like, huh? In that moment, I think that's what she was experiencing. I guess the only good thing that Paul said was in his confessionals when he said, if all of the ladies are saying the same thing, then perhaps he needed to take a step back to do self-examination. I was like, finally, Paul, this is what we've all been thinking of. But yeah, thank you so much for listening to the episode. And that's just a recap of the episode. Please give this video a thumbs up, and please don't forget to share and subscribe. My overall thoughts on the episode is it's picking up. So far I feel like the season is picking up. So far my faves are Joy and Clifton. And I like Ace. Ace is my favorite lady on the show for now. And the favorite couple so far is Joy and Clifton. Now, I don't know what's going to happen soon, but that's my favorite for now. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you so much for listening, and see you next time. Bye.